There are whispers of a high-level Israeli plot to assassinate Iran's supreme leader, and of President Trump stepping in to block it. But before we go deeper, please do us a favor, like, comment, and share this video. The media won't really give you clarity on what's going on, so help us with our common sense journalism at Explain America. Here's what we know. There was a massive report this weekend, sourced to Reuters, where at least two unnamed U.S. officials said Israel planned to take out Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and President Donald Trump vetoed the operation. Quote, "We found out that the Israelis had plans to hit Iran's supreme leader. President Trump was against it, and we told the Israelis not to," unquote, said one of the officials. It's a sensational claim and one that would normally spark global headlines. But almost immediately, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rebutted the claim and put it in the category of false news stories. Watch this.
But if they don't do it, and they certainly didn't want to do it, it became very clear, we had to act. We don't wait until we have a nuclear holocaust. That's not going to happen again.
So how does it end?
Well, it'll end when we remove those capacities, and we will.
You stop short of killing Iran's civilian leaders, just military commanders, I mentioned, nuclear scientists, but not the supreme leader, Khamenei. There is a Reuters report just moving saying that President Trump in the last couple of days vetoed an Israeli plan to kill Iran's supreme leader, according to two U.S. officials. Is that true?
Actually, there's so many false reports of conversations that never happened, and I'm not going to get into that, but I can tell you, I think that we do what we need to do. We'll do what we need to do. And I think the United States knows what is good for the United States. And I'm just not going to get it.
Okay.
That.
It doesn't stop there. His national security advisor, Zachi Hanegbi, went further, calling it, quote, fake news of the highest order, unquote. So what's the truth? If this story is false, why are multiple U.S. officials leaking it? And if it's true, why are Israel and Trump both pretending it didn't happen? Well, here's a theory. By publicly vetoing the strike, Trump gives himself political cover. It keeps America officially out of the attempted assassination on Khamenei, while potentially greenlighting it behind the scenes. It also denies the Iranian regime a pretext for dragging the U.S. into war. That's not weakness. That's a pretty good calculated strategy, if it's true. Now remember, Trump has been arming Israel, supplying intelligence, and backing them diplomatically in their shadow war with Iran. If Khamenei ends up dead in the coming weeks, it may look like an accident, but don't be so sure that the United States didn't know anything about it. This is high-stakes geopolitical chess, and unlike the warmongers in the D.C. swamp, Trump might be the only one on the table with enough calculation to play this to win without sacrificing American lives. So what we're involved in now is an information war. And we have all sorts of interests that are trying to drag the United States' powerful military into yet another Middle Eastern conflict. Benjamin Netanyahu, for example, has suggested that the Iranians in recent weeks are still trying to assassinate President Donald Trump. Of course, we recall such reports before the 2024 election, and there were two assassination attempts on Donald Trump, but they were both by leftists, and I'm just going to just say that because that's what the track record says. They were both Act Blue donors. Republicans don't do that. So, it doesn't. And Ruth's manifesto, for example, he tried to play himself off as an independent. Very similar to the kind of reports that we're seeing out of Minnesota right now with Vance Bolter. All sorts of plausible deniability. Don't buy it. Actions speak louder than words, and rhetoric is cheap. And you can tell from their actions that they supported the Democratic Party. So that's what you need to go with here. So whether you're reading domestic politics or international politics, it's always best to look at the actions, look at the hard evidence, and then try to see how the rhetoric squares with those things and the pattern of evidence to try to discern if you're being told the whole story or being misled or manipulated. So in this case, both Netanyahu and Trump certainly are allies, and Trump is supporting Israel in his effort, despite all the sort of controversy that some people have with Israel after the October 7th Hamas attacks in their response. But certainly a lot of people in the MAGA movement don't want to see Donald Trump commit to ground troops, especially in Iran. And it's a really dicey situation, and we hope President Trump does the right thing. And at the end of the day, Americans are pretty confident he will.